The ABC has been at it again. Their America's editor, John Lyons, a serial media lefty who's been bashing Israel and Donald Trump at taxpayers' expense for years, well, he decided to challenge the president over his business dealings, and Lyons got exactly what he wanted.
Is it appropriate, President Trump, that a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity?
Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business.
But
I'm here.
you are also...
You know what the activity... Where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Four Corners program.
Well, the Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now. And they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone.
Well,
go ahead, John.
Trump.
Even better for Lyons and the ABC, the White House then lashed out on social media, calling Lyons a rude, foreign, fake news loser, which might all be true, but it gave Lyons the chance to play media hero.
The response I've had from media here has been extraordinarily supportive. This is a time where the media is under siege in America.
Of course they're backing him. He's just part of their obsessive anti-Trump crusade. And the media under siege? The media? He's kidding, isn't he? What, because the public are calling out their lies? But there's much more to all of this. First up, of course, Trump's response was churlish and unreasonable. It was typical Trump, self-centred and arrogant. I mean, the idea that our Prime Minister's desperate bid to get some face-to-face time with Trump should be influenced by the behaviour of an Australian journalist, even one paid for by taxpayers, well, it's just not the way diplomacy should work in Western liberal democracies. And as the leader of the free world, Trump should be able to take and deal with any questions without resort to personal abuse. But that's Trump. He's unconventional and uncouth. And just as they have for the past decade, too many people have been too fixated with making that obvious point and wasting their time on character assessments rather than examining what he's actually doing, what his policies and actions mean for the US and the world. And this is where the Lyons questioning is so illustrative. He's entitled to ask any question he likes. But of all the issues you could raise with Trump, this is what this ABC reporter chooses. It underlines again how the ABC is having a lend of taxpayers, taking more than $1 billion a year and using it to indulge themselves rather than serve taxpayers. I mean, remember way back 8 years ago when the ABC put together a 3-part series running the Russia collusion conspiracy against Donald Trump? It must have cost more than $1 million just to run what was already back then a discredited leftist conspiracy theory about Trump being a puppet of Vladimir Putin.
Hello and welcome to Four Corners. Tonight we begin our special 3-part investigation into the story of the century, the election of US President Donald Trump and his ties to Russia. The Kremlin's puppet master now has America dancing to his discordant tune. He couldn't have planned it better.
Since then, multiple official investigations and inquiries have confirmed that this whole conspiracy theory was not just all wrong, but was actually largely cooked up by the Democrats. Yet the ABC hasn't corrected or apologised for it. You can still watch this junk on their website, and the reporter, Sarah Ferguson, hosts their main nightly current affairs show. And now they have this America's editor in the US doing another Four Corners piece. And what would he be examining? The difficult but successful push to control America's borders, which were out of control for so long? The rise of radical leftist groups and their manifestation in political violence, such as the assassination attempt on Trump and the killing of Charlie Kirk? The gang crime and drugs and social dysfunction in America's big cities and how to solve those problems? The transformation of the US from energy importer to energy exporter. Perhaps they might even examine the business dealings of Joe and Hunter Biden and the rest of the Biden family, issues the ABC studiously ignored while Biden was in power and which they remain incurious about now, even though in his last hours in power, Biden offered extensive and preemptive pardons to all of his family. None of that. They're spending your money letting Lyons indulge his usual leftist conspiracy tendencies, probing Trump's business dealings. No doubt we'll learn a lot, like Trump is rich and he's getting richer because he's a deal maker and he's probably leveraging all of his contacts as president. Hold the presses. Dog bites man. Now, it's all valid. It's all a valid line of inquiry, of course, but it's a question of priorities. They're obsessed with tearing down the man Trump rather than examining the real issues that affect all of us. It's personal attacks on right-of-centre targets that preoccupy our ABC rather than the big issues that matter. Just this week, Four Corners did a hit job on a Christian church, the Plymouth Brethren, accusing them of being a cult and not supporting equality for women, and particularly slamming them for handing out how-to-vote cards for the Liberal Party. I must have missed their Four Corners programs looking at Islamist fundamentalism in this country and extremist hate preachers and women forced to wear burqas. I also must have missed their reports on the manipulation of our weather data, or the destruction of our energy grid, or the shameless and unscientific climate alarmism that, rather than expose, the ABC helps to orchestrate. Maybe they could examine whether the Teals are actually a political party controlled by a millionaire rather than a collection of like-minded independents. No way. The ABC and political activists like John Lyons have a worldview like undergraduate protesters, and they indulge it at our expense. They're having a lend of us, because no matter that taxpayers fund them to the tune of $1.2 billion a year, they don't behave like it's our ABC or your ABC. Nope. They reckon it's their ABC.